G'day guys, welcome to another layout. This one is technically heavy, okay? If you want to know why I love Lunar pastes, this is the video for you. This one is not necessarily, all I'm doing in this video is I want to show you different ways you can use Lunar paste to create a layout. And I've put it all on one layout. So, you know, a little crazy. Right, first things first. This color is called Raw. I'm using my gesso brush and I've added some water to the Lunar paste and I'm using it as a watercolor. It has a slight shimmer to it and it dries super quick. I am using, this is all going on to Vicky Bouton's foundations paper. So super duper, it's ready for all the mixed media. I am drying between coats just to make sure that everything's dry so we don't end up with mud. Now, I've pulled out a couple of stencils. So the color on the back, on the very base, is called Raw. The next color that I'm bringing in here, I'm just using some generic, this is just a puppy layout. You know what I'm like with my dogs. So I had a heap of photos just sitting there. So I wanted to do this layout. So I decided to just choose a sort of a generic topic so I could show you guys these things. Now, as you can see, I've got a piece of plastic off to the side there. I've put a bit of double-sided tape underneath it to hold it down for me. And I'm using a makeup sponge. So this way you can put the Lunar paste through the stencil and you get that beautiful shimmer from the mica powder. And it is absolutely shimmery goodness and I absolutely love it. So the blue that I'm using is called No Diving. It's actually one of the new colors and it is stunning. The yellow that you can see there is Shooting Star. Now, I'll be using that as well. So they're the three colors that I use. I don't use any other colors. I know I had heaps of them there, but I just wanted to pick some colors that go together but contrast. Okay, so there's enough of a contrast there that you can totally see them when you layer them up on each other. And yeah, so I'm just going along and I'm just adding, I started adding a second coat to the stencil work that I just did. And I'm just turning my stencil just to give a little bit of a different effect. Basically what I'm trying to show you in this video is you don't have to be a specialized, you don't have to have lots of training to use these products, but if you invest in the products, you can use them in multiple ways on a layout. You may not choose to use every single process that I'm about to show you on one layout, but I want to give you the ideas so that you're able to go, you know what, it is $10.50 for a little tub of it, but look how many different ways I can use it. And that's what I want you to do because it literally, I love this stuff. Okay. Now I'm coming in with some yellow. This is the Shooting Star. I chose that color. I was thinking about going with a gold, but I decided, no, I'm going to use yellow just to be different. Just for the point of fact, just to be different. It's kind of predictable to go down the path of using a metallic, so a gold or a silver. So I wanted to just use something different. Trust the process, guys. Just trust the process and write down the different ideas. So we've got makeup sponge. So we've got dilute it with some water to create a wash on the back. I've used a really textured brush to give me really deep grooves to help create extra texture. Then I've grabbed a really open plan stencil and I've done two different colors. Some of them have one coat, some of them have two coats. I'm going around the border here using the makeup sponge to create a bit of a different effect around the edges, just for something different. So you can see that it just, you don't need a stencil. If you don't have a stencil, maybe you just want to get a packet of makeup sponges and go to town, cut them in different shapes. Then what I decided to do is, this is Raw, so this is the exact same color that's on the very base, And the blue is the same blue that we just used through the stencil. So it's raw and no diving. And I'm just putting it through a completely different stencil. So the first one I used had triangles on it. I think it was one I got from Kmart forever ago. And this one, I actually call this like a checker plate. I don't know if that's what it actually is, but it's one that I grabbed from Amazon AU a little while ago, and I love it because the grooves are deep enough and wide enough that you can get a really good texture. So I'm just putting some of the Lunar paste through the stencil. That simple. Now, this is where, so you can leave it like that and let it dry. Not a problem. That's another way you can use the stencil. But now I'm going to actually show you the next step that you can take. So I'm sitting here and I'm drying it. Now we've all done this with different products where we've got a bit too close with the heat tool and you've bubbled it. Well, I'm actually doing that on purpose with this product, and it gives you the most wicked texture. I know it sounds funny, and I'm really hoping that you can see it on the video, but the close-up pictures at the end, you can see it. So what I'm doing is I'm holding the heat tool really close to it, and it bubbles, and then it kind of sets it really hard while it's in that bubbled stage. I can't tell you how good it feels to touch. Putting it through that stencil and putting it to the point that it bubbles, it is amazing. There's no offensive odor. It doesn't damage the product. It doesn't do anything like that. It's just another way to create more texture with it. Now, I just kept going with the texture because the more I let it dry and then cool down and then come back with the heat tool, I got a different kind of bubble action happening. So once that was really dry, oh, it's so good. And I actually had, you can see me there, I'm just rubbing my hands on it because it feels so good. Now, I actually had Taylor come in and I said, feel this, because she's a textural person. She's got Asperger's, and she felt it and she's like, oh, that feels amazing. I said, I know. So good. Now, this is another thing that I wanted to show you, and I did it in a roundabout way. So this is another technique. So imagine this is the first time I'm putting some paste on here. Okay, so you wouldn't normally put another layer on here, but while it's still wet, sprinkle over some embossing powder. Okay, then when you hit it, because it's sticky, it's tacky, and it hasn't dried, it's grabbed onto your embossing powder, and that way you can actually create so it gives you a real depth. I'm trying to explain how it's kind of like a 2-pack, like that paint finish you can get that's like a 2-pack. That's what it looks like. So it's literally the Lunar paste with the mica and then having the embossing powder on top of it. I was going to go in and do another layer of embossing powder, but I figured that was enough because I'm just doing heaps of different stenciling techniques, etc., etc. And I got to this point and went, I'm having lots of fun, but now I've used all these products, I should probably actually create a layout with this so I'm not wasting the products. Now, is this a color combo that I probably would normally use? No. I think we can all safely agree that this is going down a wild path. But trust the process, because there's a difference between just going willy-nilly crazy whatever and trusting the process that you can pull a layout back from the brink. Now, I did this layout with the intentions of it being for me to show you a heap of different techniques with Lunar paste. These products, I don't have the Crafters Workshop ones yet. I'm actually going to order some of them next month, and I will do something. I will test these guys and see how far I can push these ones outside their comfort zone. Because when these products are sold to us, they're sold to us as a texture paste. That's what it is, right? But I want to know what else I can do with it. Can I add water to it? Can I add rubbing alcohol to it? What does it do to it? What is it? Is it going to destroy the product? Is it... I've never mixed rubbing alcohol, by the way, with Lunar paste. But, you know, I want to know with these products how far I can push it to the limit that we can create different textures, different looks, different things across the board. Like, that's what I want to do. So I have to say, I absolutely love how it turns out in the end. And it did take a little bit of brain power. I have to be honest with you. I was watching Heartland, and I had that playing in the background. So I reached the point where I went, let's try and save this now. Let's put the brain matter into gear and see if I can actually get this really crazy, busy, wild color and texture combination in the background. See if I can pull it back. I knew I was going to use all these photos because these photos have just been sitting around. They were printed. Angela actually printed them because she wanted them for something and then changed her mind. So I decided, you know what, I'm going to use them. And then I realized, look, there we go. I've got a bit of a blank space in the center here. So perfect spot for a title. So I've just mounted these photos on a bit of black cardstock. As I say, still with my rule. So to pull this layout back, go back to your rule of 3 thing. So I don't mean rule of 3 as in having 3. My rule of 3 is more from a color perspective. So I've got the black borders on the photos. Now I'm going to come in with a black title, and then I'll have my 3 black things on there. The colors themselves, if you're playing along, by the way, there is the giveaway word number 12. And just curious, if anyone's curious what these words actually are, they're just things I love. Things that make me happy. So that's where all these random words have come from. I've actually really enjoyed doing it, to be honest. So this is actually, I bought these ages ago from Kmart, and they were in the checkout bin for 50 cents. So I grabbed them thinking, oh, that could be some really cool titles. I thought there was a lot more in the packet than there was, but they're just a clear sticker. You can see it there. It's just they're just phrase stickers, basically. So I thought, you never know. That might work on here. This may not ever be my most favorite layout, but I did pull it back from the brink, and it actually comes out not too bad. So that's what I did there. So I just wanted to add that to some cardstock. Then I knew I needed to mirror the black borders that I've put around everything. So I've backed it with cardstock as well. And then because it's in the center and it's a little bit I didn't measure this beforehand in case anyone thought for half a second that I did. Measuring's not my strong suit, okay? I don't always measure stuff. I do a lot of stuff just by eye, and yeah. So here we go. I just whacked that in the center. I thought, okay, that's not too bad. Maybe a little bit of pen work here could save this. This could bring it back. So I'm pretty happy with it so far. Here we go. So I've pulled out my Posca paint pen. Now this is the thin one. It is 0.7 millimeter. And I love these pens because they have a matte finish. So with so much gloss everywhere, because quite literally every single bit on this page is gloss. It's all got sheen to it. Even the very first bit that I put on there, it's literally all Lunar paste. This entire layout. which is crazy. I've got to tell you, when I was doing this bit and I was feeling that texture from that grid, oh, it is so good. It is so good. So if you do have some Lunar paste, pop a bit through a stencil and bubble it. It is awesome. It is so much fun. Now, this little bit of black pen work, I think, is the thing that saves the layout. It was, there's Taylor feeling it. She's like, oh my God, that feels amazing. So yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with it, hey. So what else can I tell you? The Lunar pastes that I have, I've bought all of them from Crazy Craft Obsession. They do have them for $10.45 each at the moment, and they do have the 4 new colours in stock. So the 4 new colours are No Diving, Rosy Posy, Crown Me, and there is an orange, but I don't know why I didn't get the orange. So that's my fault, not their fault. Obviously, and I placed another order with them last night, and guess what? I didn't get the orange Lunar paste. Oh, it's all right. It's okay. It doesn't matter. I'll order it next month. That's fine. So I think going around these triangles and giving them a little bit of extra definition. Okay, there's a new word for you. You can tell it's been a long day. Yeah, so just giving them, it's kind of grounding that first stencil that I did by going through and just giving them a bit of a black border. That's all it needed. And it allows you to actually be able to focus on the different patterns that have crossed over each other. And because it's all shimmer, all shine, it's awesome. Absolutely love it. Got to tell you, love it. And I was a little concerned at the beginning, but hey, they all got on there. I've shown you, I think there's about 5 different techniques. So what do we do? Watercolor. We did the first stencil just by using the makeup sponge. Then the makeup sponge around the outside edge, just freestyling. Then putting it through a different stencil. So it's a double layering of a stencil. So that's 4 different ways. Then, so you've got then your normal wet look. And that's 5. And then 6 is when I bubbled it with the heater. So this has actually got 6 different techniques, and then 7 if you include the pen work. So that is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed that and enjoyed all those different techniques in one video. I'm trying to get my camera to pick up the bubbly effect on the grid pattern or the checker plate pattern. It feels amazing. Can you see the little bubbles there? It feels so good. You got no idea. It feels amazing. You got to give it a try. I don't know if it works with any other texture pastes. As I said, I've only tried it with the Lunar paste and it works a treat. So, and there you can see the embossing powder. So that was 7. I forgot about the embossing powder. 7 different ways to use Lunar paste all on one layout. Probably don't recommend doing all 7 of them in one layout. Maybe, just do 1 or 2 of them. But check it out. Look at all that texture. It's amazing. It's fantastic. I love it. Thank you so much for listening and watching me and listening to me waffle on. Have a wonderful day. And I will be chatting to you tomorrow with another video with some more craziness coming from me. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll chat to you soon. Bye for now.